team in Michigan basketball history. The 89 team is still number one because of one person, Glenn Rice. And that guy right there was the sniper. That guy was the difference maker. And that guy.
If Glenn Rice would have played on the team last night, they would have won like 100-60.
It's safe to say they'd have won by over 20 points if he was on that squad.
I also want to say that I want that one side. What was it? The left side of the court. I want that rim to be investigated because it's not even on a Michigan fan side, but like Michigan couldn't hit a shot for more than 12 feet off that rim. If it hit the rim, it sounded like the rim was hollow. And then when Connecticut started shooting on that side, they couldn't make a shot there that was over 12 feet.
Yeah, I think I want both rims investigated, to be honest with you. But it don't matter because Michigan won the national championship. I'm happy. I'm excited. I feel like I'm on cloud nine. I feel like I'm part of the team because, 37 years we waited for this. 37 years. We lost in 2018, we lost in 2013, and the Fab Five, when they took us there 2 years in a row, they lost. And just for Michigan to do this,
just remember,
37 years, it's just so
it
special.
could be worse. You could be a Michigan State fan.
Well, last I remember, Michigan State fans are going crazy right now. They feel some type of way. And actually, a Michigan State player posted a tweet or something on Twitter about Michigan fans and Michigan winning the championship, a football player. And my whole thing is, when the last time Michigan State won a championship in football? Go ahead. I'm still waiting. Just want to name it. Let me know.
Was still waiting. 60s?
It was still waiting.
66, wasn't it?
In this century, since we've been born.
Oh, yeah. They haven't. And
okay, so that's why I need.
I mean, they came kind of close. But
kind of, you know who's came kind of close, Jamie. What's that name? Who came almost close?
When you do that, you gotta come with it. You can't think about it.
Yeah, I know, but that team slipped my mind. Miami Hurricanes came close to winning the national championship this year.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? But they didn't get the job done. Alabama came close a couple years. They didn't get the job done. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. Who came close? Came close don't mean nothing to me. Because you know why? Because I was told that. I was told. But what came close with is this WWE. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just so bad. It's just really so bad. Now, yesterday, Raw. Because I did watch it today. I didn't watch it yesterday. I refused to watch it yesterday.
It was bad. I had to watch it. I had to skim through it a second time this morning.
Yeah. So I watched it this morning. And you know what I mean? I'm not going to compare to SmackDown because SmackDown is a horrible show. I compare SmackDown to AEW Collision.
SmackDown doesn't benefit from having the same level of talent across the board that Raw does.
Right.
So I'll give SmackDown a level of a pass that I will not give to Raw.
Right. Raw was okay. It was bad, but it was okay bad. Like
Raw
okay bad means
all things desperation.
So like what I mean okay bad is, why am I watching Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus B-Fab and Michin on Raw? Why am I watching? That's you know what? I'm gonna stop right there because that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this pipe bomb. No, because if I go into that, man, everybody gonna think that we don't like women wrestling. We gonna think we some haters. I don't.
First off, no, like that. We are not. I've said multiple
haters.
times on this show. I far more enjoy the women's wrestling division of WWE than the men's. The women's across the board, the women's division has more talent per wrestler than the men's division. Michin and B-Fab, all this work that they're doing with all these women, putting them into the tag team division, your tag team champions are sitting right there. it should be Meechin and BFAB. It would give them a level of credibility that you're desperately trying to give them that you basically stole from them because of Jade Cargill wrecking them week after week. So that would be your tag team champions right there. How they're not already getting pushed in that direction, kind of beyond me. It would give that group a little credibility because Jade's not credible. We already know that. And before anybody wants to pick on us for only picking on Jade for being unsafe, that Stephanie Vacher hit last night was just dirty. Like, how do you hit somebody in the back of the neck? Like, she should have been hitting them like between the shoulders, because now I don't know if you saw it, but Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez are in concussion protocol.
Yes, I did, and I see that big lump on Liv's forehead.
Roxanne's got one too.
Yeah, they
hers
both
is
like
just as nasty.
They like they got big eyes right there. Like, woo. No,
So,
okay. It's. Let me calm down because I'm too excited. You got a message about your campaign poster.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So let me read that because maybe it'll calm me down. If this were to come to fruition, you have, in capital letters, have to promise me not to do anything bad to the Usos, especially Jay. Exclamation point. We all know how much you loathe him.
What if I made you this concession? Jay will be free to pursue other opportunities on the main event scene somewhere else.
Bro,
I will keep Jimmy. I will let Jay go pursue other opportunities.
Bro, they just said don't do anything to the Usos.
I mean, I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, so I would keep them around, but Jay would not be. Main event Jey Uso would become side chick Jey Uso, and he'd be doing tag team wrestling to build that division back up.
All right. And I say they because it's two ladies.
Uh-oh.
So
gotta make the ladies happy. So
don't they in capital letters, do not mess with the Uso. Especially Jey Uso. They want to keep yeeting.
Well, I mean, they got LA Knight doing it now, so I mean, apparently anybody can do it.
Yeah. I find that so refreshing. All right, so let's get to what I was trying to say. Because now I'm calm now. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes both dropped pipe bombs, one on Friday, one on Monday, about TKO, about their interference in the storyline. But this is more of a personal attack to me because what I read so far in this article by Ben Johnson of PW Insider, it's more of the backstage, the locker room are frustrated about the direction of what the WWE, but more importantly, the ticket sales of WrestleMania. It's like TKO is not owning up to what they're doing wrong. And look, me and you have said it numerous times. These guys don't know anything about wrestling. These guys don't. Only thing they know is money, and they're interfering at the wrong time. Like, you can't price out wrestling. You can't price out WrestleMania. It's a family show. You're taking a family show and you make it too expensive for families to go.
Well, now, let's just keep it simple.
Okay.
Let's say I'm charging you $1,000 for 2 tickets. It's $500 a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Would you pay $1,000 to take you and your wife to go see the ladder match starting with, would you pay $1,000 to go see LA Knight, the Usos versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISHOWSPEED in a 6-man tag match?
No.
Would you pay $1,000 to watch Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match, which is just a long-winded way of saying a no disqualification match?
No.
Would you pay $1,000 to watch Stephanie Vacher versus Liv Morgan? Now, keep in mind, just one match. Would you pay $1,000 to watch?
One match? No.
Would you pay $1,000 to watch AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch?
No.
Would you pay $1,000 to watch Seth Rollins and Gunther with no buildup?
Nope.
Would you pay $1,000 to watch the so many women's tag team Fatal Fury match?
There is not one match.
That's my point.
On that card, I wouldn't pay $1,000.
That's my point.
If you say, hey, will you pay $1,000 for 8 great matches? Yes. Will I pay $1,000 for a mediocre matches? No. I wouldn't even pay $500.
And we only left one match off of there for night 1. Would you pay $1,000 to watch Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton?
Well, no.
No, that's night 1. And you're not seeing both nights of WrestleMania for $1,000.
No.
So I was giving you a deal on that. And you said no to every match. Mm-hmm. Out of night 1, the only match that actually has any sort of interest to me whatsoever is Stephanie Vacher versus Liv Morgan. And if Liv Morgan legitimately does have a concussion, she may not be able to wrestle in the match, period.
No, because I think their concussion protocol will call for like 2 weeks, I think. And they have to go through serious tests to clear.
And with the size of the welt she has on her head, she very well might have one.
Yeah.
And that was just night 1. I'm not even going to go over night 2. I mean, we could talk about it, but night 2, matches are better, but it's still not worth ticket prices.
Okay, so would you want to go see night 2? What is it? Jade versus Rhea? Will you pay $1,000?
Well, here, so $1,000 Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Not for $1,000, but maybe for
$1,000. Penta versus Mysterio versus Rusev versus Javon versus JD versus Dragon Lee.
No.
$1,000 for Jade versus Rhea.
No.
$1,000 for Sammy versus Trick Williams.
I'll pay $1,000 for if you give me a good deal for both nights. We can talk.
If it was $1,000 for both nights, I would contemplate it, and I would probably not be sitting in my seat for most of night 1.
No.
Night 2, I would be around for like 2. Let's see, 1 match. I'd be around for Oba and Brock, which they've made as part of the free hour. They've made that official because they're gonna be desperate to get people to buy into night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be a short match because the second match of the free hour is the ladder match.
Ladder match, right? So that match going to be every bit between 5 to 8 minutes.
Yeah. I'd be there for Finn Balor's Demon intro, and then CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. I'd sit and watch that one. But again, I wouldn't pay $1,000 to watch that match either.
No, I would say for both nights, I'll do 2 things. 1, I will go find a scalper and find me some cheap tickets for both nights where I don't have to spend $1,000. Or I will go find a local bar who's illegally have it at their bar, and I'll sit there and watch.
I miss the days of Buffalo Wild Wings when a bunch of us would go to Buffalo Wild Wings and just sit there for, especially WrestleMania, because it was like a 6-hour thing. We just go there, eat, order a bunch of food. You went with me many times.
Yep.
And just do that for 6 hours.
Yep.
But again, and it's not that these matches are necessarily bad. The only bad match that I see on night 2 is Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams.
Yeah, it's bad because we all want to see Carmelo Hayes on that card.
There's no reason it shouldn't be Carmelo Hayes.
Right.
The ladder match, I don't have a problem with who's in the match, except you gave us nothing to go on. There's no story here. You basically had a qualifier that I didn't even know about because I don't watch main event. I have to watch too much wrestling as it is. I don't have time to watch, if Velocity or Sunday Night Heat was still on, I wouldn't be watching those either.
No.
But you apparently had a bunch of qualifying matches that nobody knew about and then said, oh, hey, we're having a ladder match and these are the people in it. Nobody cares about JD McDonough. I love JD McDonough, but nobody cares because you haven't given him a story for anybody to care about. Dragon Lee,
what has he done?
A story. Rusev,
what has he done to get a story? Right. What has he done to even be in the qualifying match or even to get a match? Because last time we seen him, he just been the side piece of Dom Mysterio. And on top of that, he's been out with an injury for a long period of time.
Well, and on top of it, you left him in the Judgment Day because you desperately needed to make Finn Balor a single star when he was always aligned to Finn Balor to begin with. And now all of a sudden he's aligned with with Dominic for no reason whatsoever. But that's a whole side thing. There's no story in this ladder match. And you just threw these guys in there to say, oh, hey, we need filler material. We need a bunch of guys that have some endurance that can take up 45 minutes of showtime. That's what that is.
Yeah. Look, me and
Because the
you
Jade
both.
match, I tell you right now, is probably going to be shorter than the Lesnar Oba match.
Oh, it has to be. It has to be. I mean, we'll touch on that. I'm very disappointed about the fact that Rey Mysterio is in this match. And the reason I'm disappointed because it was told to us. It was said that, hey, it's going to be Gunther versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. They was building that up. He had Master Dragon Lee. He beat Dragon Lee. He unmasked Dragon Lee. He embarrassed Dragon Lee. And that just is going to lead to Rey Mysterio challenging Gunther. But it didn't happen because we were told that Rey Mysterio was out with an injury. And then not only he was out with an injury, it was told to us that Rey Mysterio last match going to be the Clash of Italy. That's going to be his last match.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened in between that when they made that statement until Rey Mysterio coming out? Rey Mysterio coming out and added himself as a sixth man to the ladder match.
It's one word, and it describes everything for WrestleMania: desperation. They are so desperate at this point to sell tickets, because if they're not selling tickets, if you can't fill out the stadium for a live event, how do you expect to get ratings on TV? So that's what they're concerned about, because now they have to appease ESPN. Because if you can't even sell out the venue, why do you think that you're going to have a massive TV sale? So they have to make sure people are tuning in. They're throwing every old school name that they can. If Hulk Hogan was still alive, Hulk Hogan would be involved. And they did everything they could. They announced that they're releasing the documentary on April 22nd to still throw Hulk Hogan in there. But if Ric Flair wasn't aligned with AEW, they'd probably have Ric Flair involved. Even though I don't know if I sent it to you today, he's at war with WWE right now.
I've seen that. Oh, and by the way, did you see the photos? He was at his at Charlotte's birthday.
I only saw two of them. I saw Jade was there and Kiana James, and then Flair, obviously. But I saw like two pictures that were posted.
All I gotta say, he was having more fun than his daughter.
I'm sure he probably was.
I'm
sure he probably was. He got to sit in between Jade Cargill and Kiana James. I'd be having a ball too.
I was just hoping he didn't have an accident in his pants like he did at Chili's. But
I mean, this is the same guy that was flashing stewardesses on a plane.
That's true. This is why I say, and why a lot of people say that TKO don't know anything about wrestling.
They don't. They're a hedge fund, basically.
Right. You Endeavor don't know anything about wrestling. See, if you want a good match, if you want a great match where ESPN will have what my opinion should be promoting more than anything, you could have just you didn't have to do the ladder match. You could have just had Penta versus Javon Evans. That was still the match. That would be the match of the night. You got an up and coming young W superstar. ESPN can promote this kid. He is friendly. He is exciting.
ESPN can't promote it because ESPN doesn't know how to do anything but sports. That's why Pat McAfee is in there. And that whole debacle. Oh, it was scripted. No, it wasn't scripted. No, it really was scripted. We want him to be against the company or for the company, but they're trying to get too creative that they're going to outsmart themselves and just piss everybody off. You're trying to make Randy Orton be the heel, but you're having Pat McAfee say all the things that people are actually thinking, which isn't going to help the cause. And then Pat McAfee goes on a show, calls out the IWC people that you follow or whatever, saying that they're the reason for it. Yeah, they're probably saying a lot of things that are correct. Your ticket prices are too high. Your storytelling sucks. Triple H is bad at his job. Triple H doesn't have any power. He's just the fall guy. All that could be true. And if he is the fall guy, he got put in the place as the fall guy because what he was doing leading up to that point sucked.
Yeah. So the IWC is not a someone I follow. The IWC is the entire wrestling community.
Like I
It's
said,
people.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get you there because we are part of it because we got a podcast and we got wrestling fans watch our show. And the IWC it's just a big fan base of wrestling fans who voice their opinions
Is it
on.
like a community on Facebook or something I have to follow? Because I'm
No,
not going to.
no. You don't
Okay.
gotta follow them.
I'm
You
like,
don't gotta
because
follow
I
them out.
purposely don't watch other people's stuff. Like, I'll get glimpses of stuff here and there, or like a meme that pops up, or my Facebook gets flooded with wrestling stuff because we talk
Yeah,
about wrestling. So I see everybody's little this or that, but I don't follow anybody because I want my own opinions to be my own opinions. I don't
yeah,
sit there and watch other people's stuff because then what they're saying becomes what I start saying or thinking,
right,
which then leads to this show. And then I'm just reverberating what everybody else says. If I
right,
happen to say the same thing as somebody else, that's just because we have the same opinion.
right. That's basically we are what I'm trying to say is that the words of expression that come from us is kind of like what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
And I get flooded with a lot of wrestling because I follow wrestling. I get so many YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wrestling. That's what I love. And other than basketball. Um, Mainly everybody's saying the same thing. But the difference between what we're saying, what they're saying, is that we're taking from a different point of standpoint. They look, we're saying it without all of the emotions and without we're saying authentic. There are some saying authentic, but then there are some who are just don't give a shit. But anyhow, um, before we came on, I had to say, Jamie, maybe you gotta look at this from a different point of view. With the CM Punk and Cody Rhodes promo, I do believe those were genuine promos. I do believe they were shooting us from the hip. I do believe they were voicing frustration.
I think
But
Punk was probably given a couple talking points to hit on. And I think TKO probably is taking the stance like Vince McMahon did. Mick Foley's talked about it when Mick Foley went off on Vince McMahon in the ring. And Mick Foley went to Vince and said, "Hey, this is what I want to talk about." And Vince said, "I don't care. Just make me money." And I kind of
right,
think that's how TKO might be handling the Punk side of things is just make sure you hit on this stuff, say whatever you want, because Punk got a few good digs in there. He got the Ari Emanuel dig in there. Cody Rhodes got a few good digs in there. Cody's, I do think, was probably a little more genuine because he actually did look pissed off. That didn't look like work pissed off and story kayfabe pissed off. Like
no.
Pat McAfee said some shit that pissed him off, for sure.
That too, but I also kind of think that that with Cody Rhodes, it was personal. It felt really personal.
Well, yeah, he
And
attacked the fact
yeah,
that he hasn't been able to carry the company. And if
yeah,
you go and take a 1 year look back, he hasn't been able to carry the company.
he has it, but also this is not me. I'm quite sure Cody probably feels that you guys ain't put me in the position to carry the company. I mean, y'all keep calling me quarterback QB1, but y'all keep going back to Roman because he's still the face of the company to them. Maybe the Kobe might be something different.
I
I
mean,
think
to
Cody.
me, I've said it since he came back. I don't see what the appeal is to Cody. He is super generic. Like I said, he comes out, he kneels down, he does his little double tap on the ramp, throws the championship back over his shoulder, walks out to the ring. It's just like Hulkamania. Come out, do your four poses, the whole thing. People got tired of that too. Just now, people have much shorter attention spans. People burned out on Cody far faster than they did on Hulkamania.
Yeah, that's true because we're in a different time. I mean, back then, I kind of think people would have burnt down on Hulk Hogan if social media was around back then.
Oh, people would have burned out on Hogan by 85 if social media
That's
would have
what I'm
been.
saying. And now we during the social media era, people are burnt down on Cody because we seen this same song and dance. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame Cody. I blame the creator as far as why don't you guys switch it up once in a blue moon, once in a while? Why
Well, and
don't you
that's why, like,
guys?
on the last show when you were talking about, oh, The Rock this, The Rock that, The Rock is just as much to blame because if you think any of this is happening without him knowing about it, and whether they are saying, let's set Triple H up to fail, let's, the whole thing with John Cena last year, he just dips out right after the heel turn.
Yeah,
You think anybody was happy about that? You just made
hell
John Cena
no.
commit to something that he hasn't done since he got on the main card, essentially, back when he came out against Kurt Angle. He was a heel for a hot minute when he first got there, but it became an anti-hero like Steve Austin real quick.
Yeah.
And then you just, oh, hey, you know what? The story's done its thing. I'm going to step back and let those two do what they do. No, that was 100%. I'm going to set Triple H up to fail. Let him see what he can do with this. And if that's what his plan was, great, it worked because it did fail. You took one of your biggest stars of all time and basically shit on his entire legacy. But yeah, I mean, he would be just as culpable as Ari Emanuel or anybody else because you guys are letting this happen. You know the ticket prices are exorbitant. You have guys like Killer Cross who I've sent you stuff about making more money than ever. Basically, he's become the new Matt Cardona already in less time than it took Matt Cardona. And chances of you getting him back, slim to none.
Yeah, I do believe everything I said about the right last week, I stand on. But I also believe that if you love this business like you say you do, if you consider this business as your home, you would not let your former rival or anybody in the business that you love, the company that you love, and the man that you replace, you would not let them fall and sink like this. You know, I always kind of felt like if you love something as much as you love pro wrestling, you will contribute to it any means necessary. So if you see that, hey, these storylines, these stories ain't working, we might do something different. You might want to interject yourself into this, not necessarily take over, but as a partnership.
All he has to do is say, I love pro wrestling, but I don't love it more than making money making movies.
Right. Well,
that's it. You can love wrestling, but you can love making money off of the movies that you're making far more because that's why he's not in pro wrestling.
Right. But if you're going to sit on the board of TKO and you're the top board guy in the WWE, you basically the boss of the WWE, you will not want to let your company fail to the point where you're alienating your fan base, you're alienating your people in the locker room, and by the time you take over, they're going to want nothing to do with it. I mean, like when I told you last week, Bayley's contract is coming up.
Bayley's going to be gone. Bayley's going to be in AEW.
It's Bayley and 3 others. Their contract is coming up towards the end of this year.
I've been telling you since we started doing this show, when Bayley's contract is up, she's gone.
So if you're going to...
Her best friend is wrestling in AEW. She's going to go hang out with her.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If they make a compelling offer to her. Because we all know they don't want to pay nobody. They want to keep everything at the minimum. Yeah, if you love it here, you'll sign for whatever. No,
yep.
It's the WWE. Now with CM Punk, when he cut his promo, I do believe he was talking on behalf of the locker room. But I also kind of felt like both of these guys' promo, as real as they sound and as frustrating they sound, have we seen this before? We've seen this before. So, like I said, we seen it with they voice displeasure with Vince McMahon. We seen how they voice displeasure with Eric Bischoff who's in WCW. What's gonna change?
Exactly. Nothing.
What's gonna change?
Punk's original Piper promo and not people have accused it of being scripted. And I don't doubt that it was. Because if he was really going off to that degree, you could cut his mic. You could do 1,000 different things. And they don't do it. They let it run.
Yes. Because how many times we seen Vince McMahon did a CM Punk in the past?
Mm-hmm.
How many? Well, Cody Rhodes said, what are you going to do? Fire me? Yes. Because Vince McMahon did it in the past. He let you walk out the door.
Yeah, Cody with what are you going to do? Fire me? You did that before. It didn't work out so good. WWE kept humming right along without you. They didn't care that you were gone. And guess what? They made a call, and you were the first one to drop the company that you helped build to come back to WWE. So just from that optic, you want WWE more than they need you.
It's like, well, let's get this straight. Vince McMahon not only made the phone call, he flew to the man's house to bring him back because he's seen the improvements that Cody Rhodes did. And I'm quite sure that he had big plans for Cody Rhodes before he decided to do what he did. But at the same time, Cody Rhodes got to understand that Hulk Hogan was let go. Hulk Hogan was Vince McMahon's biggest star that he created. And once he got tired of Hulk Hogan, he go ahead hit the door.
Yeah, once he saw that Hulk Hogan wasn't drawing the way he
Right.
used to, fine, go to WCW.
Right. Steve Austin had bad knees. Vince McMahon got everything out of him. And once Steve walked out the door, he didn't beg him to come back. Hey, go ahead. Peace. Wrestling is always going to continue to keep moving. They're only going to do is create new stars. So how much I do agree with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes said on the mic, but I'm also conscious worthy, just like you said, hey man, either this might be scripted or they're gonna play it off like this being scripted and they're gonna work it through.
All I can tell you is don't be surprised if season 3 of Unreal gets delayed by a couple months because they're having to do a bunch of reshoots right now behind the scenes to make it look like they planned this the whole time.
Right. So I'm gonna read you this article. And it's kind of on the same lines with what we were just saying. This is from Matt Black over and out about an hour ago. And he says this. CM Punk once again became the voice of the voices this week on WWE Raw. World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk kicked off this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, where he cut a passionate pipe bomb promo on the likes of Pat McAfee, Ari Emanuel, The Rock, and his WrestleMania 42 Roman Reigns. And by the way, when he hit Roman Reigns with the dog food, that was, I want to say that was funny, but damn, though that was facts.
I mean, I liked CM Punk's promo. I thought it was good. It actually gave me a little bit more respect for him instead of just being the whiny bitch that he always was beforehand. But again, some of the things that were said make me think that it was not scripted, but like, make sure you hit on these couple things. And yes, this was approved by the office to show that we're getting edgy. Because that was Triple H's thing 2 years ago. Oh, we're going to get edgier. We're going to be more like the Attitude Era. And they haven't been until suddenly now when they're desperate.
Yeah. It goes on, articles on to say, by the time Punk finished his promo, he had the WWE Universe right in the palm of his hands, ready to run through a wall for the best in the world, as he demanded that the powers that be lowered the ticket prices of events ahead of the company's biggest show of the year. But was this promo scripted? Just like he was talking about.
Well, and the problem now becomes, you were setting it up clearly to have Roman Reigns win. From the way that the promos were going, things like that, Roman was clearly going to come out the winner. Now you're making CM Punk likable, and he's going to have all this good favor with the fans now, and you're going to have him lose to Roman? And you're going to let Roman lose at WrestleMania again? Highly doubtful.
Right. Or did Punk decide to do things once again his way? According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, WWE had a plan for what they wanted CM Punk to say last night on WWE Raw. However, Punk went out there and cut a promo from the heart, going off script from the original plan. Johnson reports that Punk remarks last night mirrored the backstage frustration of several talents over the past few weeks. As for the promo itself, Johnson hasn't heard any of fallout at the moment over what Punk said. Some of Punk's biggest moments in the WWE are when he decides to speak from his heart instead of adhering to a script. If the company decides to take the handcuffs off of Punk going forward, it will only improve the interest in the product in the months ahead. Now, I do agree with that.
Well, first off, to say that there's no heat, what heat are you going to have? That's your main event at night 2. You can main event night 1 and it's okay, cool. Everybody knows night 2, the main event, that is the true main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
So what are you going to do? This guy's in your main event. You going to fire him right now? Nobody's going to watch WrestleMania. Like,
no.
So to say there's no heat on him, of course there's not. Common sense. You're going to wait till afterwards. Just like when Ultimate Warrior held up Vince McMahon for SummerSlam. Pay me $500,000 or I'm not going out there. Vince wrote him a check for $500,000. What happened as soon as he walked through the curtain?
You fired.
Didn't even get to step all the way through the curtain and got fired.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that was under Vince McMahon. Do you think they're really going to handle anything that much different? Am I saying they're going to fire CM Punk? No. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's off TV for a while.
Absolutely. That's why I said that I think he's going to lose Roman Reigns. But I also believe, though, is that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were speaking for more than just the locker room. I do believe they were speaking for Triple H and doing his bidding because Triple H can't really say anything. He can't really say anything because if he say something, he gonna get fired. So what's the best way to do it? Let me have my two champions go out here and cut a unscripted promo.
And that's why I'm saying there was bullet points.
Yes,
because they didn't come from Ari Emanuel.
No, of course not.
But no, that's 100% what I think is that it was pre-planned. Hey, make sure you bring this up. Because again, the ticket prices, that's an easy one to hit. Because you're charging more money than ever for a worse product almost than ever. This is one step better. The current WWE is one step better than mid-90s WWF. And again, we go back to that word desperation. The only time WWE has gotten better is when they've gotten desperate. What happened in the late, not the super, like the mid to late 90s? Undertaker's talked about it. Bret Hart's talked about it. Bret Hart signed a contract that Vince McMahon couldn't even pay for. There was no money. Guys, this might be our last show. There might not be paychecks next week. And then suddenly you get Stone Cold Steve Austin. You get Triple H, not Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You get The Rock. You get people just being themselves because he wasn't producing characters anymore. He was letting the talent be themselves. And look at what happened. You go from getting your ass kicked 83 weeks on the Monday Night Wars to now all of a sudden you're winning the Monday Night Wars. And guys that helped carry you through that, Mick Foley was the catalyst of that. People forget that. People that WWE that wouldn't even touch right now, not because Mick's old, but even if Mick was in his prime, Mick wouldn't be getting any television time right now with this current WWE.
No,
but it's guys like that. Yeah, guys like that helped turn this whole thing around. It wasn't their main event stars at the time because The Rock was still having the little Jerry curl top of his hair thing that he was going on. And Kurt Angle still had hair. Like, these guys weren't stars. It was Stone Cold,
Bret Hart,
and Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. And Bret Hart started all of it. He was the first one that ever brought out the Vince McMahon character.
Yeah, the Montreal. Yeah, it's to me. I think it started with the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
But I think actually, let me take that back. It happened before the screw job. Because I forgot I don't know if it was a Raw or something.
Raw was the first time that Vince McMahon ever took a hit from somebody, and it was by Bret Hart. Bret was the first one to put his hands on Vince, like all that stuff.
Yeah, but I think it was before that because you kind of seen the friction between Vince McMahon.
Well, yeah, that's what led because all that led up to it. And then when he found out that Vince wasn't going to be able to afford his contract, it was, well, you could just leave. And that's when all the friction started because he started negotiating with WCW.
Yeah. And that I think I want to say when Stone Cold won the King of the Ring.
Yeah, when he beat Jake the Snake. That's when Austin 316 happened.
Yeah, that happened. And then you started to see
the one good thing Michael Hayes.
He was just like calling out Bret Hart. He was calling out Owen Hart, and he was battling the Harts. And I think like Owen gave him that power driver, broke his neck, and he came back. There's him and Bret having a feud, and the Bret Hart feud looked like it was so damn personal, but it wasn't with Stone Cold. It was kind of like it was with Vince McMahon because Bret Hart started seeing what direction that Vince McMahon wanted to go into. I'm
just gonna go on record and say it again. Bret Hart does not get nearly enough credit for starting the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to credit Steve Austin for it. Steve Austin was a thing. People were starting to get on the hype train, but nobody really got on the super hype train of Austin until WrestleMania 13 when he passed out from the sharpshooter with the blood dripping down his face, wrestling Hart.
Yeah.
That's what made Steve Austin, was that match.
And the Bret Hart frustration just kind of just ran over. And then once he fought Shawn Michaels, it was kind of like, that was it. That was it. Like, once Vince McMahon had the timekeeper ring the bell and gave the title to Shawn Michaels, you seen that was coming. And it was personal.
And the Attitude Era was before even the Montreal Screwjob, because if you remember like the Sunny Days promo that, Shawn Michaels was hitting on with Bret Hart, accusing him of like having an affair with Sonny and all that stuff. It was happening long before Steve Austin did the whole Austin 316 thing and before the Montreal Screwjob.
Another problem with the WWE that everybody knows is that if you're going to go this route with TKO is doing, then your shows cannot be PG no more. It has to be edgy, aggressive. It has to get back to, not saying the Attitude Era, but it can't be PG because you can't justify charging this fan base all this money for a wrestling event where the card in most cases is mad.
Let's put it this way: your current most popular star in the company doesn't have a match at WrestleMania.
No.
Danhausen ain't booked for a match.
We could take one step further. We could take a step further.
And I'll tell you guys, you really don't want to see Danhausen wrestle a match to begin with.
No, he's not that good. We could take a step further, man. Your best wrestler in the company is not in the main event. Your two top heels in the company is not in the main event. Your top two heels in this company, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, are not wrestling for a title. They are wrestling to put over others. Prime example, Gunther, for some reason, is fighting Seth Rollins. We all know why. We know why.
The Brock Lesnar retirement.
Yeah, we know why. But he doesn't need to be fighting Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins don't need to go over. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's bad booking. They don't know how to book people to build them up. Unless Gunther wins, having this match doesn't make any sense at all. Because Gunther needs the momentum. They haven't done anything with him. These retirement matches, as I've said before, nobody cares about.
No.
Nobody cares that he retired Goldberg. Nobody cares he retired Cena. Nobody cares he retired AJ Styles. He needs credible things that matter now. Beating Seth Rollins would go a long way in that.
Yeah, and look, you could have put Seth Rollins in a 6-man tag team match with the Usos against Division, and not ISHOWSPEED. Could have got another guy. It makes more storyline sense because it's Seth Rollins going against Division, his former group. So you didn't have to put him a one-on-one match against Gunther. You can put him in a 6-man match. 6-man.
They probably fed it into their AI system that they're using, and AI kicked out the story.
Right, and you could have protected him. We all know he's coming back from a shoulder injury. We all know that, but you could have protected him that way. But
just as a side note, completely off topic on the AI thing, just because it popped into my head. So we talked about the Bobby Lashley being an anime fan was the story that they kicked out. Yes. Bobby Lashley didn't even work for WWE at the time. Do you think AI could have come up with a more absurd storyline than a guy being in love with a mop head?
Yeah.
I don't think it could. Like, somebody actually had to sit there and write that story out for Perry Saturn.
That's like,
and I get it was punishment, but like somebody actually had to sit there and think about that and write that out.
No, that's I think AI would have came up with a better story.
But just keep in mind a human wrote that story. Al Snow and Head made more sense than Moppy and Perry Saturn.
I mean, they both did. They both was terrible because you got one guy loving the mop, another guy carrying a mannequin head around.
The mannequin head at least was funny because he did funny stuff with it. But if you ever want to watch a good match, Leaf Cassidy, Al Snow versus Shawn Michaels on Raw from like '96. Excellent wrestling match. Excellent wrestling match. Yeah,
but
okay, back on topic. I was just thinking about that.
Just one more thing on that. One guy got over with the head because everybody loves
Head.
And one guy didn't get over the mop.
Well, the Job Squad thing was just really funny too. Moppy being a punishment. Again, if you want to punish somebody, why are you going to take a guy that you're paying money out, a substantial amount of money too, like at least a couple $100,000 a year, to go out there and do this thing with a mop? You're not helping your company. Like, it's things like that just make no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, that could have done. He could have just done what Tony Khan doing right now. Hey, go home. Call you when I need you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just nuts. Um, so back on topic. Then you got Drew McIntyre fighting Jacob Fatu, which I think do believe is gonna be a good match. It's a lights out match. But again, you have your main heel not in the main event fighting Jacob Fatu, who you trying to elevate to the main event, but your top heel is not even. You're not doing anything with him. You made him drop the title, and now the fans are pissed because according to the numbers, Drew McIntyre as champion, views and everything went up.
Ticket sales,
Drew McIntyre
views,
not champion,
everything
going back down.
Well, and again, look at it. How did that story between Jacob Fatu and Drew start? They haven't shown us any proof or even verified it in the story that Drew is the one that hit Jacob.
Right.
And Drew's character is very much the type, yeah, if I did it, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to claim that I did it. I'm going to let you know that I did it. And then they'll say, oh, this is some long-term storytelling that Jacob got into a fight and beat up Drew and took Drew out because he thought he did it when really it was Cody this whole time because this Cody thing's not working. We've got to do something drastic. But like they haven't done any actual buildup of the story. It was just, oh, we're going to go out and attack each other. And now they're just so angry with each other that we won't sanction the match. Like it's terrible writing. And an unsanctioned match is just a long-winded word for no DQ.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. The company won't be held responsible, so it's going to be a lights out match. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we seen that coming.
But
if you really want to make it a good match,
bad.
you could just put in the Hell in the Cell.
If you had wrestlers to the degree of AEW that could go in there and just go for an hour and like go, I don't mean, hey, we're going to sit here in a chokehold for the next 5 minutes and talk about the next 15 steps we're going to take. But like guys that can go for an hour, okay, fine. But they really don't. There's a few guys, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them aren't wrestling on the show. So your stories have to be there. And what's the one thing WWE has usually been pretty decent with is their stories.
Yeah.
And they're failing that completely right now. There's basically no story to Jacob and Drew that actually pushes this story forward. It's just a bunch of attacking each other at this point. Gunther and Seth, no story. No story build up at all. Seth tried to cover that last night of, oh, well, I think I know why, because you want to have a favor done for you by blah, 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 blah. Already basically saying what I said 2 weeks ago of this is just a way to get the match with Brock to retire Brock.
Yeah, and then yesterday Gunther all but confirmed that.
Yeah. And like the ladder match, no build up whatsoever. Like all these matches, you have no story. WrestleMania is where all your big stories come to conclusion. And some don't necessarily get an immediate conclusion. That's why you had Backlash. And sometimes Backlash was the conclusion, and that's perfectly acceptable. You have a bunch of stories that don't even exist right now.
You have, I want to say, probably about 3 stories. Yeah. You have Finn Balor versus Dom. That's a story.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. That's a story. Because it goes way back. The one story we have now, that's the very mature story, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. And I wouldn't really call that a story because these 2 guys, we already knew they were about to fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already knew they was about to go square it up against each other. And that's the match that everybody wanted to see.
Except for me. I want to see the match, but it's too early.
Right.
Oba hasn't done anything to be that monster status yet. Yeah. He should have had a year to just run through everybody, kind of like use Brock as the final boss. Once you beat Brock, you are now that guy. People thought you were that guy because you were running through everybody, but beating Brock is going to solidify you as that guy. Now you're going to beat Brock. You're not going to go right into a feud with Gunther. No. Gunther's going to be booked. So who do you have? You going to go into a feud with Braun Breaker? No,
because he's not here.
Exactly. So you're going to go from Brock to what?
Not LA Knight. Not the Usos.
Hey, Akira Tozawa. I see that you have some free time. Would you like to be our new Rey Mysterio for a while? That's what's going to happen. You're going to go out there and you're going to wrestle Oba Femi 50 times to make him look good.
or Otis.
Or Otis. Yeah, when you want to make a
Yeah,
big guy, Otis is the de facto big guy to take the beatings all the
yeah.
time. I forgot about
See,
that.
it's kind of like that. What they should have done is follow that same form that Shawn Michaels had down in NXT. You let him to beat up, destroy people, and then you work him into the main event scene. The WWE, we already knew that once Oba got called up, that he was going to be a main eventer. We already know that once he be in the main event scene, it's only a matter of time they're gonna put the title on him. The problem is that they are so fast tracking this right now because allegedly Brock Lesnar might retire at SummerSlam. Whereas personally, I would have Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, 2 matches, WrestleMania, next match, SummerSlam.
Mhm.
Boom. We got 2.
Honestly, I was thinking about it earlier. I would have 3 matches. And again, this all depends on Brock's timeline, but have Brock win at WrestleMania. Because you have to humble the hype train a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or else you don't have a story of it's like knowing the hero is always going to win. It's basically like Hulk Hogan all over again. Every time Hulk Hogan wrestles, you know Hogan's going to win. That's why people got sick of him. I would have Oba lose at WrestleMania. And then there's what? There's
Backlash.
I would have a rematch at Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Oba wins. Or don't have Oba win. Have it some sort of like no contest where they both just beat the hell out of each other.
Right.
And they need time to recuperate. Then they have their rubber match at SummerSlam.
And
but that's provided that Brock is willing to go to WrestleMania next year for Gunther. If that's not the case, then you're kind of screwed. You're going to do it this way. It is what it is.
Right. If Brock is stayed on retiring at SummerSlam, like you said, 3 matches. Okay, Oba, someone be on the line. In my instance, the same thing. I'll just have Gunther. Okay, you get Brock at WrestleMania. You get him at Backlash. Take a little break in between. Still keep that feud going. And we'll have the one last match for the whole thing.
Well, that it keeps Brock's thing because it's been reported and it's very clear. Brock said he doesn't want to lose until his final match.
Right.
It still tells a good story. Oba can take a loss. It's not going to hurt Oba at all to take a loss right now. No, he can take the loss at WrestleMania, have a no contest at Backlash. They beat the hell out of each other. They need time to recuperate. We have the final match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
done.
It wouldn't hurt Gunther either because it wouldn't hurt Gunther if he would have lost at WrestleMania, only because the WWE already hurt him by having doing this Legend Kill storyline in which nobody's not buying into, nobody really cares about.
Why somebody thought this was a good idea? Like, it worked 10 to 15 years ago when Randy Orton did it because you had a bunch of legendary guys that were on contract or that were still young enough that they could come in and take a bump and be okay. They could take a punt kick. But even Randy Orton said he's kicked a lot of people on accident doing that, and he doesn't even like doing it now. Right. And those guys are all considerably older than what they were. You're not going to get a bunch of these legends in there. No. Hey, the Demolition. Let's have, Randy Orton come out here or Gunther come out here and put him in a chokehold. They're not going to roll around on the ground with Gunther in a chokehold for 5 minutes. Yeah. So you don't have these legendary guys lined up. And if you do, they're all guys that just retired. You haven't even given the fans a chance to miss them. John Cena just retired. You're already dragging him back because of your desperation. Raw was the most desperate I can ever recall. You had Rey Mysterio announced that he's going to be in the 6-man. They're the 6-man for the ladder match. You had Finn Balor all but confirmed that he's going to come out as the Demon to draw interest there. Like all these little things, it's like desperation can be good because it can push you to be better. That's what the whole purpose of competition is for. This just reeks of we need to appease ESPN and we need to put as many butts in the seats as we possibly can.
Well, not just ESPN. We got to appease Netflix. We got to appease USA.
Well, and you got to make the Saudis happy too because you need the Saudi money.
Yeah. And we already know the Saudis gave them a blank check, but shoot, even the Saudis looking like what they say, well, the Saudis kind of booking their own WrestleMania, so they're going to pick whoever they want on that card. But still, they got to be good.
But the Saudis, again, are watching wrestling from like 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
They want Rey Mysterio around. Rey Mysterio is broken. The guy goes out to the wrestling ring, he gets hurt every single time he's out there.
Yeah. They want The Rock. They want Steve Austin. They want the Undertaker. Undertaker can't go. They want Kane. Kane can't do it anymore. They want John Cena. John Cena
No.
already said he ain't coming back. So
And John
that
Cena
might be
makes
a
enough
little
money.
different.
You're not going to entice him with money to come back.
No, you're not. And I think, hear me out on this one. Next year, WrestleMania will just be for the Saudis. If I'm the WWE,
I don't even have any intention of watching WrestleMania next year. That's how removed I am from that entire situation.
I'm gonna watch it. Don't worry about it. I got it for both of us. But if I'm the WWE, if I'm a book after this WrestleMania, I'm a book for WrestleMania 44 and just work backwards.
Well, yeah, I'm like, to me, I just act like WrestleMania next year doesn't exist.
I mean,
I got my 2-year picture, and now I'm going to work backwards and just pivot over this whole step right here. But
well, I wouldn't say I'm thinking one exists. What I would do is I'll just book it as just a regular show. Nothing special. Just a regular show. Kind of like how they do it now. When they go to Saudi, they just do a little stories here and there. Boom. We're gonna give them some good wrestling. But I'll just book it like I'm booking a Raw or a SmackDown. I'm just trying to get through this so we get to the next one.
just there's not a lot of forethought into this WrestleMania card at all. And Ari Emanuel bringing in Pat McAfee, like, I don't know how he thought that was going to help anything. And I get their logic is, oh, well, now we're doing the cross promotion with ESPN. Do you think people are watching Pat McAfee's show to hear about wrestling? No.
No, see, here's Pat McAfee is very unique, but his show is just very unique. And on a side note, Pat McAfee contract is coming up. Well, his partnership contract is coming up with ESPN. So let that be known that Ari Emanuel is his agent.
Yeah,
Ari Emanuel is trying to get Pat McAfee more money from ESPN. And we also know that Pat McAfee and their biggest face of ESPN do not get along whatsoever. So it's a little touch and feely here. But the thing with, I understand you have to appease ESPN. I get that. But bringing Pat McAfee is not going to do that. If you would have said, hey, you know what? We're going to have, just throwing out here, not saying they should do this. We're going to have Stephen A. Smith come out and escort Oba Femi as his manager, opposite of Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar. Or we'll have Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, Stephen A. Smith, and Darren Orlovsky come out with Seth Rollins or with Roman Reigns or with CM Punk. And we're going to have them come out and be in one of their corners just to get some sports fans to watch. Okay, cool. I wouldn't like it, but I understand because they're part of ESPN. Pat McAfee is just licensed through ESPN. He's not even part of the ESPN family because none of them like him over there. So, and not only that, I understand Pat McAfee has worked with the WWE. He has some relationships and all that. But Pat McAfee ain't been part of WWE in months.
Well, even the way they had him come into this whole storyline doesn't make any sense. Why? And I like to look past the storylines because most of the storylines are just complete shit to begin with. But even from a storyline perspective, Randy Orton would call you of all people. No, it doesn't even make sense. Now, if they would have put The Rock into this position, it would have made sense. Because The Rock, there's not just one royal family. You've got The Rock's family. You've got Orton's family. You have something there. If they wanted to bring Pat McAfee in, it's just like turn the heat up and turn the pressure up on the heels and have him drop a couple promos here and there, so be it. But to be the face of this whole thing, it makes no sense whatsoever.
No. If you would have said like, hey, Arn Anderson is on the other side of that phone talking to Cody Rhodes, I would like that a lot better because why? Randy Orton has a relationship with Arn Anderson. Cody Rhodes has a relationship with Arn Anderson. In fact, Arn Anderson, when Cody Rhodes at AEW, was by his side through his run at AEW. So if you'd have played that angle, hey, Arn Anderson's on the other line on that phone talking to Randy Orton, and he would have came out and identify himself as that guy on the other side of the phone. And Cody Rhodes would have looked like so surprised and shocked and hurt that was Arn Anderson. We got something right there.
Well, and with Pat McAfee coming out, it wasn't even a surprise. He came out just wearing an RKO shirt. Like there was no buildup, no nothing. It was a lead balloon. It was so bad.
It was like everybody was like, huh?
It would have made more sense for Kevin Owens to come out. I personally would have used Kevin Owens. You want to get him back on TV so when he makes his return, people haven't forgot about him. He knows he can cut a promo as good as anybody can.
Yeah.
Look, let him open up.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton are the two old school wrestlers in the WWE. Because they're generation wrestlers. They learned they grew up in this business, they've been in this business. So that's why I threw out Arn Anderson, because Arn Anderson is an old school wrestler, and I think that would have more effect with them. But Kevin Owens would have been perfect. He's been feuding with Cody.
Uh-huh.
He's been talking to Randy Orton about Cody. Hey, look, don't fall for it. Hey, this guy ain't who he said he is. That would have been perfect. And you got Kevin Owens back on TV.
That's the most important thing. You're getting Kevin Owens back on TV because he needs to come back into the main event. He's not a mid-card guy.
No.
Sami Zayn's a mid-card guy.
Right. But not only that, I'm glad you said Sami Zayn. Imagine Kevin Owens come back, and that would help Sami Zayn out. Why? Because Sami Zayn will be involved in something meaningful. Not saying that him fighting Trick Williams on night 2 of WrestleMania won't be nothing meaningful. It's just that we know that they're going to put the title on Trick Williams. If it was Kevin Owens, that would have been a different story. He probably wouldn't be wrestling Sami Zayn, but he would be involved in Sami Zayn business.
It's just so sad to look at the WrestleMania card. You've got no Ilya Dragunov, no Carmelo Hayes, no Bronson Reed, no Braun Breaker. That's like your future 4 main eventers right there.
You might as well go
and 2 of them are hurt.
Yeah.
That nothing you can do about that. But the other 2, that's just willful neglect by the WWE.
Oh, yeah. There's no Rey Fenix. They had an update.
Again.
They had plans for Rey Fenix. They had plans for him. That's an update I didn't get a chance to get to, but apparently he's ready to go, but, nothing for him. But it's criminal that Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov is not on WrestleMania. And I said it last week, I say it again. You had a built-in story between Gunther and Ilya Dragunov, because Gunther who put him out. You had a built-in story with Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes, and with Sami Zayn, because Carmelo Hayes lost his title. He gave him his rematch at WrestleMania. You don't give him his rematch on the next episode of SmackDown. It don't make no damn sense.
Well, especially to have him lose it. Like, you had a chance to fix this and at least get Carmelo in there. Because just from what's good for business, is Sami Zayn, who we've tried to take to the top before and it didn't work, good for business? Or a guy that we haven't given that shot that's already shown he's got the wrestling acumen to do it. He's got the talent to do it. We just need to give him the shot to do it. Nope, we're going to let him lose again so Sami Zayn can go do it. I don't understand why people like Sami Zayn. I just don't get
it. Here's the thing. Like, for 2 years, you have put this rocket on Sami Zayn, and basically, like, it's like a delayed launch. It's like you guys refuse to give Sami Zayn that one big push to give him the title. Now, granted, they was probably been waiting for this coming WrestleMania next year. Okay, cool. So while Sami Zayn was white hot when he's with the Bloodline, where he was at his peak, where you could have done something with him. You didn't put the title on him. You put him in the tag team with Kevin Owens' best friend, which is not a problem because that was a hell of a main event. But while he was white hot, y'all chose not to do anything with him other than put him in the tag team with the tag team titles with Kevin Owens. And when his white hotness, when they was tag team champions, when they were starting going down, where you had an opportunity to elevate him and keep him in the main event scene, you decided to go right, not go left.
Well, it's because they couldn't do anything to harm Roman Reigns' title reigns or anything to do with the bloodline. That's why.
But see, this is where we at now. This is the direct effect from you gave a guy a 5-year run who only wrestled 26 times as champion. He was champion for 5 years and he only wrestled 26.
But still somehow cuts promos like he believed that he was the cause of all of it, that he was the reason that he was on top. Like, I can't stand listening to Roman Reigns talk.
I don't, you know me. I don't have no, it's whatever.
If there was nobody in professional wrestling has been more overhyped or overpushed than Roman Reigns.
It's like the WWE. Oh, we gotta get this guy a champion because he's the face of the company. You know, he's the all to be all. You know, he's the one. Okay, cool. But you telling me that when he fought Sami Zayn in Montreal and that crowd was hot and Sami Zayn was hot, and you telling me you couldn't pull the trigger and take the title off of Roman Reigns? You could have had him, Roman versus Cody versus Sami at WrestleMania and put the title back on Reigns. Or if you'd done a smart thing, you could have just had Cody won it because, again, that crowd was white hot. Again, Vince McMahon got cold feet and didn't want to take the title off of Roman Reigns, which he should have. And then maybe, just maybe, if they would have done that, we probably won't be in predicament that we are in right now. Everything will be full of far in advance. But nah, we got to sit here through the mistakes they made in the past and the mistakes they're continuing to make right now.
And they need to release a lot of people for the good of everybody. Yeah, they just need to go through and clean house. Like, we have nothing for you, but they're scared to do that because everybody's going to go to TNA or AEW.
Good, because AEW need to do the same thing.
AEW 100% needs to do the same thing.
Both AEW and WWE need to look at their roster. And it's okay to be honest with yourself. You don't got to let go of all the wrestlers that you're not using. You might have to let go of some of these big name wrestlers that are over 45. You might have to let go of some of these cats who are always banged up and hurt because they're not making you money.
How dare you say that Rey Mysterio should be released? How dare you, sir?
Hey, look, man.
How dare you say Sheamus should be released?
Well, Sheamus ain't around.
Sheamus and Rey Mysterio, I'm like, they're gone more than they're here. It's like Wardlow. They're gone more than they're around to the point that you don't even remember they worked there.
Hey, look, we understand that everybody gets hurt. It's professional wrestling. I don't care if y'all say, "Oh, it's scripted," everybody gets hurt. It's part of the business.
All the more reason why you have to develop stars and give people a chance to shine. So when your major stars do get hurt, you don't have a drop off in ratings.
Right. What do you want to do? You want to continue to rely on wrestlers my age, or do you want to continue, or do you want to do what you said? You want to depend on the new generation. You want to build them up and give them the opportunity. Because at some point, these guys right here who are 46 and over like me, they got to go out through that door. You're not going to use them as enhanced talent. You're not going to use them as jobbers. You're not going to put them at the mid-card level.
Well, not to mention, the longer they're there, they're not going to take pay cuts.
No. They're not. And your
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar aren't getting any cheaper per appearance. I can promise you that.
No. And then most of your top superstars right now are working less days these days. And I don't care. You can say CM Punk is there full time. No, CM Punk working less days. Keep it above.
Coming out there and cutting a promo isn't working. That's
Roman
just to be
Reigns.
expected.
Roman Reigns shows up whenever he wants to because of his contract. He's not even part time. The man has
Undertaker was
days
more
that he
consistent
shows
than
up
Roman
for.
Reigns is.
AJ Lee. Oh, she's back in the fold. She's gonna be here all the time. AJ Lee works a part-time schedule, almost like Roman Reigns.
There's so much trash in the WWE right now. AJ Lee, you had your time. You chose to walk away. Don't need you back. It was great while it lasted. You're gone. Bella Twins, it was great while it lasted. Go Celebrity Rehab. Go one of those celebrity shows. Make your money to pay Artem. We don't need you here. You weren't good when you were here to begin with. Just go.
I say the same thing. Look, I don't care what sport you play. I said the same thing about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, is one of my favorite players of all time. He's probably number one. But when Kobe was towards the end of his career, when he couldn't carry the Lakers anymore, when he couldn't be Kobe Bryant anymore, I said it on my show. Kobe Bryant needs to hang him up because I would rather him go out with dignity. I'd rather go out with dignity than go out as a laughing stock. And I'm glad he hung him up. I do feel he waited 3 years too long, but I understand everybody went that 20-year milestone. I said the same thing about Dirk Nowitzki. I said the same thing about Michael Jordan. I'm saying the same thing about LeBron James. In football, I say it all the time. I love Tom Brady. And I'm glad that Tom Brady was able to make it to play to the age of 45. But if I was but I would never want to play that long because you're not the same player.
Keep in mind, he won a Super Bowl in those last couple of years.
He did.
And he wasn't on what should have really been a Super Bowl team to begin with.
No, he's on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you see, Jamie, I believe in if your skills are starting to slip, get out the door. Get out.
But if your skills are so good that even when your skills are starting to slip, you're still better than almost everybody else out there, you can keep it going.
You can, but sometimes it's like you have to protect star players or star wrestlers from themselves. Right? That's always been the game. Tom Brady lasts so long because he had a great defense and he had playmakers around him. But that last year, when he couldn't throw that football like he used to, you seen all those slippage, he got out the door.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty drastic. But the year before that, he won a Super Bowl. I know because I was down living in Florida and watched him play.
Yeah. That was during the pandemic. But
I went when he played against Buffalo and it went into overtime and he set his touchdown record, his yards. He set 2 records in that game. I know the one was touchdown passes. I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, it just goes on what I'm trying to say is, man, like the WWE needs to stop depending on these older men and women.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Stop bringing back Hall of Famers so they can relive their dream and focus on the new generation. Focus on Carmella Hayes. Carmella Hayes was liked and pushed and was told that this guy is it. He is him by Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. Told you guys this. And this is how y'all using him?
I mean, Carmella Hayes I was the first one to critique when they came out with that WrestleMania 42 poster. For the men, there wasn't one dude on there under 40.
That's the problem.
And everybody's wrestling longer, this and that. Yeah, it's true. There's science. There's all the things that can let you go a few years longer. But this isn't like playing a sport. This is acting and being a stuntman and an athlete, everything all in one, because nobody gets to do it for you. You have to go out there and do it. You have to be your own stuntman. You have to be your own athlete. So your body's going to get banged up. And the more it gets banged up, the easier it is to get banged up in the future.
Yeah. My whole problem with the WrestleMania poster was that you had the women's and you had the men's, and the men's side you had you had the generic, the guys who need the Bengay, the icy hot to rub on their shoulders and their aches and pains to get it through. You had the women's side, which was cool. I liked it. But then like you never made a poster for the up and comers. You don't think that if you promoted Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Carmella Hayes, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov, Gunther,
Penta, Ray Phoenix,
Ray
Dragon
Finn,
Lee.
you think nobody ain't gonna tune in to that? Of course they will. And they keep forgetting Ray Phoenix and Penta have a fan base in that area.
Yep. Like I
Yeah,
said, I can fix it. I just need a weekend. I just need one solid writing weekend. I can fix it all.
And that's why I have this flyer up, because I'm telling you, you're gonna get that job. And finally, what I want to talk about is the AEW main event match between Kenny Omega versus MJF, in which they are calling this the devil versus the God in professional wrestling match. I like the build up for this match, even though this is a short build up, because AEW just came off their last pay per view, and now their next pay per view is this Saturday, I think. This Sunday, April 12th, which I will be watching. The build up for this match, even for short as it is, I'm enjoying it. I like it. I think this is going to be a great match.
Well, this just goes why I say that MJF is the best in the world right now. Because it doesn't matter what you give him to work with, he's going to make it gold.
Yeah. And listen, Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world. When he was healthy, when I want to say maybe about 10 years ago,
before diverticulitis, he was certainly one of the absolute best.
Yes. Pre-surgery, it's not the same Kenny, but also Kenny Omega's older, but he can still go.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't think this match is going to be anything like their first match they had. I do believe that what we're going to see in this match is we're going to get the very best of Kenny Omega.
I expect this one to have a lot of story during the match. It's not going to have all the flashiness of what you would typically think a Kenny Omega match would have, but I think there's going to be a lot of like in-ring story in this match, because that's what MJF specializes in. And Kenny has to kind of go at a slower, more methodical pace at this point.
Yeah, Kenny won't be able to do the things he did before surgery, before he had the diverticulitis surgery. But we see him in some matches. We see him fight Swerve Strickland. He held his own and beat Swerve. This match with MJF, it's going to be a telling. We're going to see Kenny Omega and MJF put on probably the best show of the night.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to see, because this is Kenny Omega said he won one last run with the title. So we're going to see how far he will go. And I like the fact that they doing this. It's kind of like, to me, Jamie, it's kind of like supernatural in the way of we got the devil versus the God. We got good. We got evil versus good. We got God, the man under heaven, against the devil who's all the way down to the floor. And both of these guys embrace that role. There's no controversy in this one. Now, me and you do expect MJF to win because it makes sense. Yeah. But I would not be surprised if they pull the trigger and say, you know what, we're gonna let Kenny win because he won one last run with the title.
Well, yeah, and Tony Khan's known for if Kenny's going to give it up within the next year, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins, because Tony's known for doing right by his guys.
Right.
especially his original guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny being one of the original guys. He's going to get a full retirement tour
Yes.
to the level of what John Cena should have gotten in WWE.
Yes. And the one thing I like when you said about MJF, the MJF gonna make everything look good.
Uh-huh.
MJF gonna make everything look believable. He's gonna make you feel it inside. He's gonna make you want to
MJF could
watch.
make Jey Uso look like a great wrestler.
100%.
I just got to throw him in there whenever I can.
He made, and I like Danny Garcia. That Danny Garcia is a good professional wrestler.
He is.
But MJF made him look really good when they wrestle. And he put him over big time.
Danny Garcia is another one that if he ever went to WWE, he would regret it within a week of being there, guaranteed.
I think Daniel Garcia shouldn't be. I'm glad he didn't go to the WWE, but I also kind of feel he should never resign back with the AEW just because I don't think that he is getting the full use of what he can do. I was hoping that he could. TNA. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. If TNA were where they are right now, Daniel Garcia would fit perfect in TNA.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. And look, the one thing that I can say about Tony Khan is that Tony Khan is already told us what's going to be the end game for MJF in this war title. It's going between him and Will Ospreay. He got both of these guys. Instead of putting these guys together right now, he got these guys in separate feuds where handle your business with this guy, handle your business with these guys. And then once you're going to wrap this up, and once it get close, when it's get time to go ahead and get this built for Will Ospreay versus MJF, it's going to get there. It's going to take some time, but it's going to get there.
Well, it's nothing that you need to rush because everybody knows that's where it needs to go.
Yeah. And everybody knows it's going to be out all in London. So and everybody is already predicted that people expected Will Ospreay to win the Owen Hart invitation. But I always say that if he wins, that's nice, but he doesn't really need to win it to get to the MJF.
No, not at all.
No. But also on that card, because I didn't pull the match card up, you're gonna have Thekla versus Jamie Hayter for the championship. Now, we haven't seen Jamie Hayter so long. Again, why she got the match, I'm quite sure she won the number one contendership. And I know Jamie Hayter is a fan favorite. She's the one fan favorite that everybody been claiming to get the title back and win the title. But Tony Khan has booked her inconsistently. She hasn't been on TV a lot. Your favorite wrestler, Andrade Adilio versus Darby Allin. John Moxley versus Will Ospreay for the AEW Continental Championship. We got the FTR versus Colt and Cage for the AEW Tag Team Championship. And we have Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir in a singles match. So that's your whole card as of right now.
Better card than either night WrestleMania.
Would it be funny?
If you go quality of matches, that's a better card than either night of WrestleMania, for sure.
Would it be funny if AEW outdoes WWE WrestleMania? If Dynasty outdoes WrestleMania on WrestleMania's 2 nights, that'd be telling. Like,
the sad part is I can guarantee it won't, only because you have to put down money for AEW, where a lot of people are getting WrestleMania just as part of their TV package. So it's not fair. If all things were fair, as far as the availability of getting the pay-per-view for AEW, I think it would open some eyes.
But is it safe to say that AEW Dynasty wrestling-wise will be better than WWE WrestleMania?
Oh, 100%.
Even
you don't
even
have
with
to think
that
about
match
that.
card, we know it's a right now because there might be more matches at it.
The best wrestlers WWE has aren't even wrestling on the card. I mean, like actual wrestling ability.
Yes.
Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov. Neither one of them are wrestling.
Oh, and Chad Gable was not either.
Fair. And see, I wasn't even thinking of Chad Gable, and Chad Gable legit is one of their best wrestlers.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. It's messed up. Well, make sure you guys tune in to AEW Dynasty on this Sunday, April 12th. I would definitely be tuned in before I go to work. I'm expecting AEW Dynasty to be a hell of a card. And listen, me and Jamie, everybody who watch AEW, we already know the complaints about if AEW don't tell stories. But just like my co-host said right here, and he said it 2 weeks in a row, not today. But if AEW would invest in just about another 10 to 15% in their storytelling.
They already are. That's why I haven't said it, because it's already happening. You see the stories are getting more
Yeah,
involved.
but
And
if
they're
they
getting
do
deeper.
invest just a little bit more, they got them. And that's true facts.
Absolutely. AEW, I mean, the simple thing, AEW is on the rise, WWE is on a massive decline. It's only at a certain point that they're going to meet. And at that point, is WWE going to tick back up? Or are they going to keep going down and AEW keeps going up? It's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I'm looking forward to another fun-filled wrestling week. Any last results, questions, concerns?
No, I'm good.
Me too. And remember, today's signature move. It is not a signature move. It's more of a what this person likes to do. And we just talked about Kenny Omega versus MJF. MJF likes to show off that diamond ring that he wears. So that's his signature. I'm gonna call that. And the finishing move will come from Kenny Omega's one winged angel. And why I call that the finishing move? Because there ain't nobody in professional wrestling attempting that move but Kenny Omega.
That and he's a giant video game nerd and loves his Final Fantasy VII.
Yes. And also, I am shocked that he's not in Street Fighter.
He is, though.
Which one?
He did the motion capture for the Alex character that they just released.
Oh, okay.
Alex is a pro wrestler, and Kenny Omega actually did all the motion capture for Alex.
Oh, okay. But physically, he's not in there.
No, he's not physically in it. But if you Google Kenny Omega doing motion capture, he did all the motion capture for Alex.
Okay. See, physically, he should be in there next to Cody, next to Roman, and all them cats. Because he is that type of video game nerd. And he was character-wise in Street Fighter, like you said. So to me, it would have made all sense to put him in there. So thank you guys for tuning into the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the show. And remember, Jamie is the guy you go to if you need good storytelling, if you need a head writer, if you need a head of creative, if you need a guy who's going to give you compelling storylines. And no, we're not talking about Brazier. We're talking about Jamie.
If you need me to write you a children's book, I can do that too.
That's right. So put Jamie in charge. Let the stories matter again. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys out later next time. Peace.
Later.